I'm Lewis with City Palms Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and this is
Justin with City Palms Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
So today what we're going to go over is control position from side control. So Justin's going to be on his back, if you don't mind. Thank you, sir. And we're going to go over how to maintain this side control position to where this is our cross face, as we went over in the videos earlier. And if I can, I'd have my 2 fingers, or as many fingers as I could, in my partner's armpit, really holding them tight, keeping their head slightly turned and off to the side, stopping them from having so much bridging power. And then this arm right here would be my under hook. Now, if I keep my hips up, how they are here, if you can see, Justin is already able to make a frame. And if he's able to make a frame on that side with his arm, he's more likely going to be able to bring his knee up and keep a frame across here. And then Justin's going to start being able to obtain and re-guard all the way back to close guard. Good. Breaking that open, come back to close guard, which is what we don't want. We want to stay out of that. So what I like to do whenever I make it to side control is I like to go to this hip to hip position where I'm laying down, putting my hip on Justin's hip and sprawling my left leg out and keeping my right leg out, toes actively engaged, keeping the cross face and the underhook. If I want to start collapsing Justin's arm here, I go to this hip to hip position and I can walk back. I can come forward and I can walk back into it, bringing his arm up away from his body, thus giving me that nice, good hip to shoulder. And then I can then come back and bring my leg up. As I keep this hip to hip position or hip to shoulder position, I can then bring my knee up, sliding it across the mat, cupping his arm, keeping it shelved right here between my cross face and underhook. Once that's shelved, I then can walk up this itsy bitsy spider and I can go knee on belly if I even want it to. Get it up high enough and I can come to mount where we've been before in the earlier videos. I could always go back if they're getting too rowdy. I can always go back to knee on belly here and then back to side control. Keeping this broke down, staying low, heavy, chest over his chest. I'm not too far forward like this to where they'll be able to bridge me this way. And I have to start using my head to post. Also, whenever I'm in this side control position, this is where I like to set up a lot of my attacks for the Americana or the straight arm bar or even the Kimura. I like to flatten out my right hip, go hip to shoulder, and try to give him that opportunity to bring his frame in to my arm, to where his frame is in, and I try to collapse his arm within my legs. And I start letting my legs do the work, collecting his arm, sprawling back, and staying at the end of his lever, which is closer to his wrist, using my legs, my ankles, holding his arm down. This is how I like to be. And then I like to bring my other leg in at my ankle, laces down in this butterfly position, keeping his head turned, fingers in the armpit, head turned off to the side a little bit. And then it's really hard for Justin to bridge me over that way. I've taken a lot of his power away and I can really lean into him. And then I can start coming over and working on the Americana, a straight arm bar. If he wants to bridge into me, because that's the way he sees, I can then step over, start working this Kimura, which we're not going to go down those paths. We're just talking about how to maintain. So this is hip to shoulder position, this hip to hip, trying to keep these frames from happening. These frames is what's going to let them obtain their guard back. He's able to start bumping, pushing, and he's going to get a frame in, right? And then he starts setting up for bad things. So hip to hip, Staying low, heavy, we're not leaving space. Coming around, walking back into them. That hip to shoulder, collecting the arm, shelving it. You can start working so many different aspects. If you're trying to go to mount, knee on belly, itsy bitsy spider, boom, go to mount. Thank you, Justin.
Yes, sir.
So, for me, that's how I like to maintain side control. Set up, go knee on belly, and then back to the other side. I would rather go back to side control or knee on belly than to get rolled over completely trying to maintain mount. Would you like to add anything?
No, sir. Did it all.
All right, until next time, guys.